Okay, so your business is probably losing money in foreign exchange and you don't even realize. Not because you chose bad rates or because you made a mistake, but because of the account you're running. So most traditional business accounts are built for domestic use, and for banks like HSBC or NatWest, FX is a major revenue driver. So the moment your company starts moving money internationally, that setup will start working against you, forcing conversions, defaulting to expensive transfers, and quietly slicing your margins every time money moves. Airwallex is built to fix that. So in this video, we're going to cover everything: pricing, FX, the core features, the limitations. I'll even take you inside the dashboard on my own account, so by the end of the video, you'll know exactly whether this is right for your business or not. So Airwallex isn't a bank, and in the UK it's known as an e-money institution, which means your funds are segregated and held at major legacy banks like JP Morgan and Barclays. That also means you're not getting overdrafts, loans, or branch access. So think of this less as switching your bank and more as adding a financial operating system on top of your existing setup. The first feature, and one of their strongest, is global accounts. And this is where Airwallex starts to feel really different from a typical UK business account. Instead of one domestic account, you get genuine local account details in multiple countries, proper US routing numbers, proper European IBANs, so your customers can pay you the same way they'd pay anyone local. So let's say you're a UK company selling to customers in Germany. With Airwallex, you can open a Euro account with local European bank details, and those German customers can just send a normal SEPA transfer. The money just lands in your Airwallex Euro balance with no need for a German bank account, no international wire, and no automatic conversion happening in the background. Another core benefit is how payments are sent, because where possible, Airwallex routes payments through local clearing networks. So that could be the faster payments network in the UK, SEPA in Europe, ACH in the US. And the advantage here is that you're going to get lower fees and much faster delivery. And they're not just going to default every transfer to the SWIFT network. And according to Airwallex, around 90% of international transfers sent via local networks arrive in the same day, and roughly half arrive instantly. Then there's cards and spend management. And this one, I'd rather show you in the dashboard than describe it. But in short, you can get physical and virtual cards in multiple currencies with controls that go well beyond anything you'd get from a traditional business account. Batch payments are another major advantage. So let's say you have 50 international payments to make. You don't need to send them individually. You can upload a CSV and process them in one go. So for agencies paying, contractors or e-commerce businesses paying multiple suppliers, that alone is going to save you hours every month. When it comes to expenses, you or your team can just snap a photo of a receipt in the app, and Airwallex can scan it and automatically match it to correct transactions. And because it connects directly with software like Xero or QuickBooks, that data can sync automatically. It basically automates your account, so every expense or transaction is categorized and logged, which could actually replace the need for a separate expense tool. Now, integrations and API. This might sound a bit techie, but think of this as a digital bridge that lets your company talk directly to Airwallex. And I actually spent some time looking through their case studies to see what this looks like in practice, and I found this company called TradeBridge. They provide funding for e-commerce sellers, and they use the API to integrate digital wallets right into their own app. So when a client gets funding, the money doesn't just get sent to an external account. It appears instantly in a multi-currency wallet that both TradeBridge and the client can see in-app. And what I thought was pretty amazing is that because it's all connected via the API, TradeBridge can see the client's real-time sales data across Amazon or Shopify, and they can actually use the data to adjust funding. So if the business has a massive sales weekend, the system sees it and can unlock additional credit automatically without having to file a ton of paperwork. And I think the big takeaway here is that the API, and to be fair, a lot of what Airwallex is about, enables you to set and forget. And it can turn manual processes that could take hours into split-second background tasks. You can accept payments in Visa, MasterCard, or Amex, and over 160 local payment methods worldwide. And this matters more than people realize. And I actually learned this the hard way with my international store, because perfectly legitimate payments were being declined simply because customers' banks were flagging my company or my store as a foreign merchant. And Airwallex tries to help avoid this by processing payments locally wherever possible, so it looks less like an overseas transaction. So in theory, that should mean fewer declines and more revenue or completed sales for your business. And if you want to go deeper, they also offer embedded payments. So instead of sending customers to a third-party checkout, you can build the checkout directly into your own app or website, so you can control the entire experience and payments will settle straight into your account. Look, if you're running a straightforward Shopify store that's only selling domestically, then you may never touch that. But if you're building a SaaS product or a marketplace or a platform from scratch, this is where Airwallex starts to feel like something you'll build your business on rather than just use to, take payments. And if you're already thinking about signing up for Airwallex, I've put an affiliate link in the description box below, so please do consider using that if you'd like to support myself and the channel at no extra cost to you. Thank you. Now let's talk about what it actually costs to accept payments, because this is where a lot of businesses get caught out and it's really important. And I've already compared these fees, or Airwallex's fees, to Revolut in a previous video. So if you want to see the full side-by-side for that, then it's linked in the description box. But for this video, let's look at how Airwallex compares with Stripe. If we compare that to Stripe's standard UK pricing, look, Stripe is slightly higher on every one of those bands, but where it gets genuinely interesting is B2B, because a lot of platforms charge a premium for business cards, Stripe included. But with Airwallex, it's just 1.3%, which is very compelling. But let's zoom out and look at how Airwallex is priced overall. And they have 3 tiers: Explore, Grow, and Accelerate. Explore is entry level, and it can actually be free if you're holding or processing at least £10,000 a month. If you fall below that, it's £19 per month. And for that, you get most of what we've already discussed. So global accounts, you have unlimited free local transfers in major markets, and up to 10 company cards, including 5 active spend users. So it's genuinely a very strong free tier, or potentially free. Grow is £49 a month, and this is where it really starts to open up. You get the full expense management suite, receipt capture, reimbursements, and proper approval rules for your team's spending. And I'll show you what that looks like shortly in the dashboard. You also get up to 50 company cards, which should be enough for a decent sized team. And if you've actually been using a separate expense tool like Expensify, I really think this tier could actually replace it entirely. And then there's Accelerate, which is enterprise pricing at around £999 a month. But you get unlimited cards, custom API support, and importantly, a dedicated account manager, so a named person you can actually call when something goes wrong. And one thing worth flagging, I think it's easy to underestimate your total bill as your team will grow, because each plan includes 5 free users, but beyond that, you'll pay extra per person per month. One other thing to be aware of, the monthly fee applies per legal entity. So if you're running multiple companies, each one carries its own subscription. That's not unusual, but I think it's worth factoring in if you have more than one business registered. But Airwallex does let you access multiple entities under a single login, so you can toggle between them without having to log in and out each time, and I really like that feature. Although they are still separate accounts, I just think it's a lot cleaner than having to juggle multiple sets of details. On FX, the structure is clean and transparent. The standard fee is just 0.5% above the interbank rate for major currencies like GBP, USD, and EUR, and 1% for emerging market currencies. There's no weekend surcharge, which is actually a compelling advantage over some competitors such as Revolut. For transfers, the local network routes, ACH, SEPA, faster payments are free. SWIFT is the fallback when no local route exists, and that'll cost you between £10 and £20. So it's always worth checking you're on the local network before you send. So that's pretty much the cost overview. But with Airwallex, I think it's really important that you see it in action. So in front of me, I've pulled up my main dashboard for my business. And the first thing you're going to notice is that we've got a lot of information here. At the top, you can see your total cash balance. And importantly, you can toggle this to view in different currencies. So if you predominantly trade in USD, you can set that as your default. Below that, you've got your top currency balances. We can also see a snapshot of transfers, pending approvals, and recent transactions. And this very important statistic, average acceptance rate in the last 30 days. And this is important because it represents how many of your customers' transactions are successful or approved. And it's important because ultimately, if this number is poor, that would indicate that you're losing revenue and you're losing customers. But the fact that it's on our main dashboard means that we can monitor it closely. Now, we briefly looked at global accounts earlier, but I just quickly want to show you the list of countries that you can create accounts in, because this is easily one of the best features of Airwallex and something that really sets it apart from other business platforms. So we have a whole list of countries here like the UK, Australia, Canada, USA, Germany, Singapore, Hong Kong, UAE, the Philippines, and the list goes on. And you can create proper local accounts in these regions. So with Airwallex, and this is really important, you're not just getting a UK current account that can hold foreign currency. For example, in Hong Kong, you can open an account and choose from HKD, CNY, USD, or 8 other currencies, and just select the account you want, hit create, and then in seconds, you have real local bank details. And the fact Airwallex makes this possible in just a few clicks is pretty amazing. Now let's do a live currency exchange. And to get here, just click conversions, which sits right beneath global accounts in the menu, and you choose the currency you're converting from. In this case, we'll do £100 in GBP. Select what you want to convert to, and the rate appears instantly. Now I like this panel, the rate history, because it can give you a decent bit of context. And again, I'd say that that level of sophistication is something that you're not going to see in most other business platforms. The limit order feature is also good. You can set a target rate and Airwallex will automatically execute the conversion when it hits. There's also scheduled conversions. Here you already know when you'll need the money, maybe for upcoming payroll or a supplier payment, and you can lock in the FX early and Airwallex will then make the conversion at a later date. To create a company card, you just click cards, then create card. And the first thing you'll see is that you're immediately asked to choose between 2 types. So we have employee card or company card. And the difference is actually really interesting. So a company card is virtual only. It's designed for things like marketing campaigns or software subscriptions, and you can share these with up to 3 people. So it works well for a team budget or a shared project. An employee card is tied to a specific person, and you can issue these as either virtual or physical or both if you want. And for the sake of this video, we'll go ahead and create one of these employee cards. So we can assign it to a specific person, give it a nickname so it's easy to identify. We can set the spending limit, and if we wanted, we can set a date limit and even restrict it to specific merchants. You know, if this card was for travel expenses, then you could restrict it to airlines and hotels. There are also other controls, which I won't go into detail now, but the card management tools are really advanced. And I think for a business with a growing team, these types of features and this level of capability is going to be really valuable. Spend approvals are the last thing I want to show you. And to get here, you just go to settings. And if I click edit workflow, I can then add a new rule. Let's just say that any card expense over £500 will need approval. We can then set this to a specific person. It's just me at my business, so I'll select myself. And if we wanted, and if I had more employees, I could have another member of staff sign off. So perhaps this was a larger amount, let's just say £5,000. I could then have my CFO, if he or she existed, and myself sign off. And this same logic can apply across every type of spend inside your business. So this could be bills, vendors, reimbursements, purchase orders. You can essentially build a clear set of rules around how your company spends money. So I've definitely spent enough time talking about how advanced Airwallex is. And I think it's time we now look at the limitations and drawbacks. The biggest one, and this comes up a lot in user reviews, is account freezes. Airwallex's fraud and compliance systems are highly automated. And if your account does something that looks unusual, a sudden large deposit, let's say from a new country, or a spike in transaction volume, then the system can flag it and freeze transactions. This isn't unique to Airwallex. Any serious financial platform has these controls in place, and they exist to protect us as much as anything else. But the difference is that on the lower tiers, your support option is email. Now, I tested this myself. A simple question got an AI response within a minute, but a more complex compliance question took just under 3 hours. So if a payment is held, you could be waiting a short while. Practical way to handle this is if you're expecting a large or unusual inbound transfer, try to get ahead of it, upload the relevant contracts or invoices before the money arrives, and if you're on Accelerate, give your account manager a heads up. The second thing I'd flag is that Airwallex is not for every type of business. There's no cash deposit facility, no overdraft, and no branch to walk into. So if your business handles a lot of cash or you need credit, then this isn't the right tool. And third, if you're in a high-risk sector, and that includes things like crypto, gambling, or certain types of drop shipping with unclear supply chains, should we say, Airwallex are pretty strict, so account applications in these areas may be declined. With all of this in mind, who is this actually built for? So if you're an e-commerce selling internationally, I think this is probably the strongest fit. The ability to collect revenue in local currencies, hold it, and pay suppliers directly from those balances without converting it twice is genuinely very valuable. It's going to save you money. And if checkout conversion matters, which it should, the local payment processing and 160 plus payment methods are hard to ignore. If you're a B2B business, the card acceptance fees alone could make this worth switching. UK commercial cards are 1.3% versus 2.8% on some competing platforms. So on 50 grand a month, that could be 750 quid back in your business. And if you're a growing tech company or a platform business, the API and the embedded payments put Airwallex in a completely different category entirely. And my overall take is that Airwallex is one of those platforms that will reward the businesses that use it properly. I think the more international your operation, the more currencies you're dealing with and the more you lean into automation and controls, the more value you're going to get out of it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to sign up for Airwallex, then please use the link in the description box. That's an affiliate link, so by using it, you'll be supporting myself and the channel. And if you'd like to learn more about how Airwallex compares to Revolut Business, then check out this video and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.